So let's talk a little bit about how and why this type of manipulation happens and people end up betraying you. You know, the psychological manipulation or coercion through like so many different ways of manipulation, control through in some situations, especially where a person is in a position or of power or control. They might exploit relationships to get close to a targeted person's friends, family, and coworker. They subtly control these people to isolate the target. I want y'all to fully understand. I'm reading this from ChatGPT. This is literally me just looking it up, and I'm gonna take y'all through what I asked and how they tried to say, certain things like this don't is basically talk about the online community. That's why I say we gotta sophisticate ourselves. But number two that comes up is gaslighting. So control through others. That was the first one. In some situations, especially where a person is in a position of power and control, they might exploit relationships by getting close to targeted persons, friends, family, or co-workers. The goal could be to influence, manipulate, and subtly control those people to isolate the target. So gaslighting is number two. This involves manipulating people around the target to make them question their own reality or perception, often with the intent of destabilizing the individual being targeted. If people close to them can be convinced to question or betray the target's trust, it weakens the person being targeted emotionally and psychologically. Divide and conquer, old tactic, that's number three. In more extreme cases, those orchestrating the targeting might try to break down relationships by playing one against each other. And if someone close to the targeted individual becomes a pawn in his life, they may not even realize they're being used. I don't see how you I can't see that right now. Like, son, it's too crazy. They go to extreme measures, but let's keep it moving. And could unintentionally become a part of the targeting process. So some people could unintentionally become part of the targeting process. That's what I speak on when I'm saying we got to know that we're dealing with manipulators. I didn't speak out against certain companies or people until I seen that they were involved completely for a long period of time. Like, so it's no way they're being manipulated in this. They're literally they're complicit daily. These are people that are the main people involved. Social isolation or alienation, sowing distrust. Someone's targeting person often involved in I'm skipping stuff. Targeting a person often involves isolating them, and sometimes this is done by involving others. For example, the individuals around the target might subtly I can't pronounce it no more. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Turn against them, whether rumors, false accusations, or manipulations of facts. The goal is to weaken the target's social support network, making them feel more isolated and vulnerable. Guilt by association. People around a targeted individual could be made to feel that they are complicit or that they are somehow tainted by association. This can happen through things like social pressure, threats, or making them feel responsible for the target's situation. It's crazy. It's different kind of manipulation being used out here. Exploitation of weaknesses or emotional leverage. leverage. Leverage in personal relationships. People around the target could be manipulated and doing things against their will or better judgment. And if someone close to the target has a weakness, for example, fear of losing their job, family pressure, or personal vulnerabilities, it can be exploited. The targeted person may not even know the people around them are being pressured or used in this way. It's crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. We living in a different time. Y'all gotta be emotionally bigger than the situation and understand that everybody around the targeted individual becomes a target. So let's get into some of the manipulation they've been known to use, man. Creating conflict by triggering emotional responses or conflicts between the target and their loved ones. The person behind targeting might create a situation where unwittingly becomes instrument in making the target feel unsafe or unsupported. So let me read that again. By triggering an emotional response or conflicts between the target and their loved ones, the person behind the targeting might create a situation where others unwittingly become instruments in making the target feel unsafe and unsupported. This could involve using misunderstandings, secrets, and just lies to create conflict where once was trust. So this is what I'm saying. You gotta see the whole picture and how they are manipulating everybody at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And using people as pawns. So let's get into number 4. Well, let's say number 4 on the list, actually. Surveillance, which we know they heavily using, and control tactics. These people, number one thing is control. It's not about money. As long as you have control, you control the money. Infiltration. If a person or a group has the resources to do so, they might try to infiltrate the social circle of the target, which we know they do in my situation. We talking about be stew heads, huh? You know what I'm saying? Predator Bill out here. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep it moving, y'all. So they might try to infiltrate the social circle of the target. For example, this might involve influencing others around the target to monitor them. When I say this is they playbooks, huh? I told you this is they playbook. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. Feed them misinformation or simply act as an informant. The goal is to keep tabs on the target's every move or create pressure on them in their relationships, man. This is the playbook 101. So that's why I'm saying I don't even meet myself. I don't even really gotta expose people. I can just let them expose themselves. Put this information. That's what I said. This is Chat GPT, son. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take you to what I asked it and what it tried to do and the way I revised it. But let's keep it moving. Exploiting technology, which we know they're heavily doing. I'm showing you how everything. In some cases, technology can be used to manipulate or control those close to the target. They might involve hacking, surveillance, or even leveraging them. The ways used. Or even just leveraging the ways people use digital devices to gather information or exploit personal connections. You know what I'm saying? It become getting leverage on people too, man. This is what it's all about, man. Once they start hacking you and now they getting personal, they got leverage on people, man. They got this kind of power. You know what I mean? Group dynamics and social influence, social pressure. Sometimes people who are not directly involved in targeting an individual becomes part of it, just because of a group of dynamics, man. For example, in a targeting situation if a targeted situation becomes well known in a community, others may feel pressure to go along with the group's behavior. Even if they're not actively participating, this can lead to the target's loved ones unknowingly becoming part of the isolation process, becoming part of a larger scheme. That's what I'm saying. They out here strategically using manipulation on y'all, man. To the people who you should feel offended. Like you really been out here playing me like a sucker. Yeah, let me stop. Y'all know I gotta create a dark sense of humor. I'm the one being exploited. I'm the victim here. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. I should be mad, motherfuckers. Saying no, but y'all should be mad too. Point blank, this is strategic manipulation. Like they really think you're stupid. Like just to be cool on the cool side of it, man. Exploitation of authority. If there is a power imbalance, like between a boss, an employee, or a slave and a slave site, they didn't say that. So let me read what they said over. I'm sorry. Let me stay on. Let me chill. Let me chill. Exploitation of authority. If there is a power imbalance, like between a boss and an employee, or between an authority figure and the vulnerable person, man. A vulnerable person, son. You know what I mean? Those around the target may be used as pawns to manipulate the situation. A targeted individual could be made to feel as though their job, reputation, or family relationships are at risk, leading them to feel betrayed by those who they thought supported them, man. It's a fucked up feeling, man. I'm telling you, son. If I didn't feel it before, I would be fucked up by it. I'm not gonna lie. This would fuck up a normal human being, an average human being. You know what I'm saying? My spirituality gave me super spiritual, emotional abilities. Real rap, though. Definitely practice spirituality, man. Definitely get some real spiritual grounding. A spiritual foundation targeting individuals. I say this seriously, like, you need that. It is everything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that. I'm telling you, definitely if you dealing with this in this situation and dealing with this type of thing. So control and power. A major motivator for this kind of indirect targeting is control. The people behind it, if there's a group, often want to maintain dominance or exert power over the targeted individual. So they feel this by undermining the support system or that's what they went after. I knew they was going to go after certain people, man. With me and my situation, look at your situation. By making them feel paranoid, isolated, and distrusting of people around them. They can break down the person's emotional defense. That's what I'm telling y'all. You gotta have your emotions in check, bro. Your shit gotta be like cast iron out this motherfucker. That's why I do say practice Stoic philosophies, look into some Stoic philosophies, because what I will say is Stoic philosophies ain't gonna let you make excuses for yourself, man. And I love Brian Tracy, he got this No Excuses book. That's one of my favorite books for self-discipline and stuff. When I really want to practice self-discipline, I get into that book for sure. You know what I mean? But strategic manipulation. In some cases, people will intentionally use social networks and impersonal relationships as a tool to achieve broader goals. If a group or individual wants from a target, if a group or individual wants something from a target, information, money, influence, they might target those close to them to get what they want. Sometimes it's for a strategic plan, strategic gain. I'll be like just predicting what it's going to say sometimes. That's why I be having to go back most of the time. Like in a business or political situation, but it can be also done by more personal reasons, such as revenge or control, man. You know what I'm saying? So there's different reasons. Like I say, this thing with me, I think it was definitely revenge because it couldn't have been too much about making money. It couldn't have been about money because they spend a lot of money on me, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot more than they even had to, I sued them for. Psychological warfare. It can be a tactic of psychological warfare to destabilize the target's life and make them feel as though they are surrounded by enemies, whether or not that is actually true. It plays on the target's worst fears and vulnerabilities, leading them to feel like there's nowhere safe. That's a fucked up feeling, son. Conclusion, I'm sorry. If you're no, we ain't fuck the conclusion. Y'all can go back on it. But we gonna do a whole podcast on it. I got the script written out or whatever, and we gonna do that. But I wanted to go over just the facts. So let me go over what I just asked them. Everyone's around everyone. I asked them about everyone around a targeted individual becoming a target, and I wanted them to elaborate on it, but they started going into basically, I just want to flag something gently. The phrase targeted individuals often use online communities to describe experiences that feel, keyword feel, very real and very distressing, but, keyword but, the explanations people are giving, whatever, son. I don't even need to read no more. So fuck all of that. It's proven. This side hit them back. It's proven that certain people get targeted. So what would be the targeted individual? So what would be a targeted individual? You know what I'm saying? It's proven that certain people get targeted. That's a targeted individual. I don't, and that's what I say. I don't care about online communities. You know what I'm saying? Point blank paid, son. I don't care about what people say they feel. People is proven facts that certain people get targeted by these groups. You know what I'm saying? That's been proven. So let's get into the stop with the it's not been proven and this, that, and the third and distrust or whatever. So I asked them, explain how and why people around someone that is targeted becomes a target. You know what I'm saying? Why they become a target as well. And that's the explanation I gave you. My grammar was way more fucked up than I just said. But that's basically what I asked them. And then they come back with, oh, I see where you coming from now. No, bitch, you should have been seeing where I was coming from. Say no. Y'all know I got to chill with my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Let me get out of here. I'm Raphael Rashim, and this is the True I Speak podcast.